All right, welcome back. Hillary Clinton released her plan to aid small businesses today, focusing on a new and larger standard tax deduction, more health care tax credits, and reductions in occupational licensing. It's good so far, but is that all? Is there more to it? Let's ask Brian Brenberg, Associate Professor of Economics at the King's College. Time to break it down. Brienomics. So let's discuss the good news in her plan. Welcome back.
Let's. Good to be here.
My pen matches your tie.
Oh, beautiful.
Woo, Providence. Is there good news here? I mean, it sounds like, you know, as a small business owner, that there are some glimmering lights.
Well, there's a couple things here that I think are, I mean, look at the good things first, right?
Yeah.
One of the things I like that she's talking about is occupational licensing. We do not talk about this enough. This is something that gets in the way, particularly of lower income individuals, from cracking into the marketplace, from finding a job. She's talking about it. Now, whether her tax incentives are going to work to do anything about it is an absolutely different question. You have to be skeptical because she's so tied into unions, and unions tend to push the occupational licensing. So I don't know if I believe it, but I like that she's talking about it.
Boy, does it hurt people who are trying to get in and forcing someone to go to beauty school or cosmetology school that costs $8,000 when they're trying to get a minimum wage job braiding hair.
And hundreds of hours of education. It just boxes people out. So I'm glad she's talking about that. I'd like to see us do more about that.
I don't think that she's being authentic about that at all.
Well, she certainly didn't lead with this policy. Notice all of this is coming later in the campaign, right? It's not a priority for her, I don't think. That's good. What I don't like here is this idea of walking around calling yourself the small business president.
Yeah.
That's not how the economy works. It's not a siloed thing where small businesses can thrive, but we can stick it to large businesses and we can stick it to medium-sized businesses.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, you said that, like, she views it as a siloed economy. Explain what that means.
Well, she's talking about it that way. You know, if you look at the span of her policies, you know, on the one hand, she's talking about higher taxes on investors. She's talking about exit taxes for multinationals, all sorts of penalties for bigger businesses who aren't paying their fair share. But then she says, I want to be the small business president. Sorry, it doesn't work that way. If large and medium-sized businesses don't thrive, small businesses don't thrive. Yeah. Who do you think small businesses sell to? They supply.
Who do you think they get money from in order to start in the first place?
So she kind of, you don't get to be the small business president. You get to be the president of the United States, and you get to try to create a economic policy environment that's good for everybody who wants to do business, not just a particular size business.
Well, and I always look at this because I know she and other progressives on the left want people to become more dependent on government. And I'm wondering if this is somehow a Trojan horse to get small businesses involved in government programs that they'll end up being tethered to for way too long.
I think that's a fair thought. If you look at the plan she put out, it's really just this smorgasbord of tax credit after tax credit after tax credit and deductions and subsidies and actually new regulations. And it becomes much more complex than the system we have right now. That's an interesting look. Trump, whether you believe him or not, says, I want to simplify the tax code. Clinton clearly does not want to do that. All the tax incentives, all the tax, it's much more complicated. That's going to be hard for small businesses who can't pay the army of accountants and lawyers to sort through all of that.
Yeah, let's complexify the tax code. That's great. That'll get the economy going. I just want my money to make money, and I want everybody else's money to do the same thing, because it is a positive-sum game.
Positive-sum game.
Amen. Brian Brenberg breaking it down. Thank you so much.
Good to be here.
Very good.